right from the beginning, even when we were still in the student movement in the 1960s, we told Ugandans that political leadership is like medical work. Please don't try to go into leadership if you don't have a medical analysis of your society. Like a doctor looks at a patient and says, looking at the symptoms and so on, he does a diagnosis and says, I think this person is suffering from malaria. And when he does that, then he makes a prescription that since it is malaria, the answer is this and that and that and that. If he gets a wrong diagnosis, the patient will die. And this is what has been happening not only in Africa, but in many parts of the world. Leaders don't care to analyze the people they want to lead. And that's how you get all these catastrophes. In our analysis, which we put in our 10 points program, and later on we abridged the 10 points to 4 principles, we were able to point out to Ugandans that your problem is that you have missed the bus of history. And Africa has missed the bus of history. When the bus of history was moving, Africa stayed on the stage and it left them. This is because the world has been moving for the last 600 years. Otherwise, in the past, Africa was like the rest, like other parts of like for instance, Europe. We had agriculture, we had artisanship, blacksmith, carpenters, ceramics. And we had chiefs, the traditional leaders like these ones here. But 600 years ago, some parts of Europe started moving. Instead of having the three groups, the rulers, the farmers, and the artisans only, they added new groups. By the time of the French Revolution in 1789, there were 4 classes in society in Europe. You had the feudalists, the rulers like these ones here, but you had a new group called the middle class, what they call the bourgeoisie in Europe. And these were manufacturers, business people. And then you had a new group which never existed in human history. These are the factory workers who are called the proletariat in Europe. And then you still had the farmers. So you had 4 classes now. But if you go to Europe now, you will not find the peasants are no longer there, and the feudalists are no longer there. what you have are now two groups in Europe. You have the middle class and the skilled working class. And this is what we told you. You said, you people, if you want to catch up with history, you'll have to do in a short time what Europe did in about 500 years. And we said, we told you, and we put it in writing in all the documents, that there are 4 sectors where you can do this. Sector number 1, agriculture. Stop working. You, the Bakedi, you have got a tribe here who distort Runyankore, but I like the way they distort it. These are called Bagwere. Bagwere, they speak Runyankore in a distorted way, but I can hear everything. Those Bagwere, they say, Okora Echida Chonka, working only for the stomach. We told you, with agriculture, stop working for the stomach only. Work for the stomach, but also for the pocket. Everybody. And do so with the chibaro. In Ateso, they call it Aymar. Aymar. So this is number 1. Number 2, the second sector are the factories, industries, like this one here. Processing what is produced by agriculture, processing minerals, processing forest products, processing what is in the lake, in the freshwater bodies like Majangi, the fish. This is the second sector. The third one, services. Services like hotels, entertainment, and so on. Transport. And then the fourth one, ICT. This is what we advise you. In writing, not just talking, everything we say, we write. And put it in the manifesto. Especially the manifesto of 1996, those first general elections we had. We pointed out all this. Therefore, and we said this one here, we don't care who does it, whether he's a Ugandan or non-Ugandan, as long as he, especially for industries and services, if he can put his business here, we welcome him and support him. And that's why we had to go against people like Idi Amin who were just ignorant and had chased these Indians. Why chase the Indians? The Indians were doing better work than many of the indigenous Ugandans. You have heard what this factory is doing. Jobs, 1,500, direct, indirect, 8,000. Contribution to economy, 1.3 trillion. You heard what the other Master of Ceremony was saying. Taxes, 250 billion. You know? Because this factory now, although it is owned by an Indian from Kenya, is now part of our GDP.